In this video, I'm going to explore the ideas of the anarchist thinker and revolutionary Mikhail Bakunin concerning revolutionary organisation. Above all else, Bakunin believed in the necessity of collective action, and he believed that action was more important than propaganda. Bakunin, being consistent with other aspects of his thought, saw organisation not in terms of a centralised and disciplined army, though he thought self-discipline was vital, but as the result of decentralised federalism in which revolutionaries could channel their energies through mutual agreement within a collective. It is necessary, Bakunin argued, to have a coordinated revolutionary movement for a number of reasons. If anarchists acted alone without direction, they would inevitably end up moving in different directions and would, as a result, tend to neutralise each other. Organisation is not necessary for its own sake, but is necessary to maximise strength of the revolutionary classes in the face of the great resources commanded by the capitalist state. Bakunin placed a strong emphasis on internationalism, arguing the importance of not only the federation of workers' associations within a single country, but also across national borders. This underpinned his work in the International Working Men's Association, also known as the First International. In contrast to the Slavic nationalism of his earlier years, Bakunin later publicly spoke against nationalism. In a speech in 1867, he called for a rejection of, quote, the false principle of nationality, end quote. However, from Bakunin's standpoint, it was the spontaneous revolt against authority by the people which is of the greatest importance. The nature of purely spontaneous uprisings is that they are uneven and vary in intensity from time to time and place to place. Anarchist revolutionary groups must not attempt to take over and lead the uprising, but have the responsibility of clarifying goals, putting forward revolutionary propaganda, and working out ideas in correspondence with the revolutionary instincts of the masses. To go beyond this would undermine the whole self-liberatory purpose of the revolution. A revolutionary elite overthrowing the government has no place in Bakunin's thought. Bakunin then saw revolutionary organisation in terms of offering assistance to the revolution, not as a substitute. It is in this context, and alongside the violent repression by the state at the time, that we should interpret Bakunin's call for a secret organisation, a vanguard. The vanguard, it should be said, has nothing in common with that of the Leninist model, which seeks actual direct leadership over the working class. Bakunin was strongly opposed to such approaches and stated, quote, no member is permitted, even in the midst of full revolution, to take public office of any kind, nor is the revolutionary organisation permitted to do so. It will, at all times, be on the alert, making it impossible for authorities, governments and states to be established. End quote. The vanguard was, however, to influence the revolutionary movement on an informal basis, relying on the talents of its members to achieve results. Bakunin thought that it was the institutionalisation of authority, not natural inequalities, that posed a threat to the revolution. The vanguard would act as a catalyst to the working class's own revolutionary activity and was expected to fully immerse itself in the movement. Bakunin's vanguard then was concerned with education, propaganda and action, and unlike the Leninist vanguard party, was not to be a body separate from the class, but an active agent within it. In response to claims of the First International fomenting revolution, Bakunin responded, quote, This very simply is to mistake the effect for the cause. The International has not created the war between the exploiter and the exploited. Rather, the requirements of that war have created the International." End quote. The other major task proposed by Bakunin for revolutionary groups was that they would act as watchdogs for the working class. Then, as now, authoritarian groupings posed as leaders of the revolution and supplied their own members as governments in waiting. The anarchist vanguard has to expose such movements in order that the revolution should not replace one representative state by an allegedly revolutionary one. A so-called workers' government or dictatorship of the proletariat would try to oppose working class self-organisation. Thus, quote, "they appeal for order, for trust, for submission to those who, in the course and the name of the revolution, seized and legalised their own dictatorial powers. This is how such political revolutionaries reconstitute the state. We, on the other hand, must awaken and foment all the dynamic passions of the people." End quote.